Jojolands is the Battle of Scumbags. Within Jojolands, we have learned a few things in the short amount of time it has been going on. We have learned the fact that Jodio is a psychopath and he's a criminal. And his whole goal is literally just to get rich, so he's stealing from rich fucking people. But this video won't be more about the story that we've had so far, but it's really about the story that's yet to come. Because I want to talk about an excerpt in something that Hirohiko Araki actually said kind of recently. Because I was doing, searching for content and information as one would do, as a content creator, unemployed, would do. And I came across this, and it was basically Hirohiko Araki in November talking about how part 9 is essentially the Battle of the Scumbags. Now, has he done something similar to this? Kind of ish. Yeah, with part 7, but with part 7 everyone wasn't a scumbag and everyone kind of had their own reasoning. It was kind of almost the opposite of the Battle of the Scumbag, because most of them had really good reasonings for doing what they were doing, like Hot Pants or Diego or even Johnny. Oh, you thought I was going to say Funny Valentine, didn't you? I wasn't. Now, first, I'm going to read this excerpt of Hirohiko Araki talking about how he basically got Jodio's name and what it represents. And it says, the protagonist of part 9, Jodio, is naturally unlike previous protagonists. Since Jojo has a rock-like feel to it, he's a bit antisocial, or bluntly speaking, a scumbag. He's comfortable committing crimes, so I combine Jo from Jojo and Dio from the villain to give him the name Jodio. So far, Jodio's relationships with his teammates are based on give and take, valuing money more than friendship. However, he is influenced by his family's income and environment around him. Part 9's storyline will center on this scumbag's journey of growth. Now, it's a lot to talk about here, and first, you notice how he uses scumbag like 3 times explaining Jodio. But second, we can honestly say that in this new universe, all Hirohiko Araki has been about has been growth. Especially with the main characters, it's been growth and understanding. You look at Josuke, you look at Johnny, and now you look at Jodio. All of them have been sent on this path of growth in 3 very different ways. Johnny, his path of growth and his character development from where he started as a shriveled up person who was ready to die, he was ready to be left alone, he didn't have anything to live for, he felt like his life was over, to the end where he realized his life was beginning and there was more to life than horse racing or just all the money he had before. He realized how much more it was too, and that's why earlier I said it was somewhat similar. He does this type of style, especially in the new universe, pretty often. These characters, especially the MCs, the JoJos in the new universe, are going through crazy growth throughout their entire story. The way Josuke develops in part 8 is actually ridiculous, in all honesty. Once he finally figures out who he is, he finally figures out why he's here, he figures out what he's here for, instead of really just letting it go, or for example not going all out to save his own mother or his half mom, but he calls her his mother. He did everything he could, but the same thing that got him to the point of at the start of part 8 where he was combined like with 2 people together was the same thing that basically helped them escape the evil of Wonder of You and deal with Wonder of You. Now for this next excerpt, which is literally titled Part 9 Battle Between Scumbags, it says, at this point Jodio's opponents have included scumbag cops and mysterious cats, with other enemies yet to appear. For those who haven't read it yet, this may contain a spoiler. Rohan Kishibe, who entrusts the mysterious lava to Jodio, is not an enemy. He's like Koichi Horisei in part 5, being more of a guide character. Although it seems he fought against Jodio's group, he only appears briefly at the beginning then steps back. In fact, Rohan has actually been in part 8's Morio all along and traveled there to his villa in Hawaii. Part 9 has only just begun, but what's certain is that the story will revolve around all sort of scumbags crawling towards the mysterious power of the lava. Jodio's team consists of scumbags, and their opponents are also scumbags, so this will be a battle between scumbags. It's not a world where good and evil are clearly defined. Still, I believe that all humans can have some form of nobility, so I think we'll see some glimmer of a noble spirit unique to these scumbags as the story progresses. Now, And honestly, especially with the scumbag thing, I do want to talk about what it literally reminds me of. Since, you know, obviously Jodio's a literal just remix of Giorno, it does remind me a lot of part 5. Because in part 5, I'll say this, all of the characters weren't awful people. A lot of them were, though. A lot of them were awful people. But the thing with Rocky, he's always had this thing where he likes to toe the line between morality, good and evil. You know, he'll make a character who does some evil things, but in a chance to redeem themselves, they always have an opportunity and a chance. But in all honesty, with the way part 9 has been going so far, I feel like part 9 has the potential to be the best written part. And which I know that's crazy to some of y'all, because some of y'all, you know, you got your part and you're not switching it. But I feel like part 9 has the potential to be the best written part, and I feel like it has the potential to have some of the best, not only some of the best written characters, but also the best group. You know, because again, the thing with the part 9 group that is diverse from most of the other groups is that it was early. That group has been locked in early, unless we get more, because again, we're still super early in the story. That group has been locked in very, very early. And I feel like when Araki makes a group like that, it's more so to set up the chemistry early on, set up how they interact or early on, so that later in the part, when things really start to pick up and people start dying and people's favorite characters start dying, and the plot's progressing, and you know, things are coming out, mysteries are being unveiled, all that. When that happens, that is when I feel like majority of the group that we have now cut in half at the very least. Because I think 3 of them will make it out. 3. Do I know who? No. Who can I say for sure that I think is going to die, though? Dragona. I think Hirohiko Araki kills Dragona. Like, I really do. But in a way where she is sacrificing herself for Jodio. I feel like that's just a feeling. It's a prediction, but it's a feeling. But I personally love the scumbag theme. I love seeing characters develop over time and seeing relationships develop over time, because as the part will continue to progress, we will only see these groups of characters get closer and closer. Like, for example, look at a part like part 3. Some people dog on Stardust Crusaders, but the Stardust Crusaders, they are one of the most tight-knit, closest groups in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. And I feel like the part 9 group has the potential to be near to that level of closeness and comfortability, even as bank robbers or just steal robbers, you know. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, we're on the road to 5K. And you know what, if you made it to the end of the video, leave down below what your favorite part is. And until next time, peace.